A man sat down across from me once with a number most people would trade places for. His household brought in just over $200,000 a year. On paper, he was doing better than nearly 90% of the country, and he had come into the branch to ask very quietly why it never felt like enough. He was not complaining. He was confused. The raises had come, the number on the paycheck had climbed for years, and the feeling he was chasing, the one where money finally stops being a worry, had never arrived. I had this same conversation more times than I can count, with people earning good money who felt like they were treading water. So today, I want to give you the honest banker's answer to one of the strangest questions in personal finance. Why does a six-figure income still feel broke? It is not a money problem the way you think, and once you see it, you can actually fix it. Quick note before we start. I spent more than 20 years working in banking, and I am sharing what I learned on the inside, but I am not your financial advisor, and this video is general education, not personal advice. Everyone's situation is different, so for decisions about your specific money, talk to a professional who can look at your full picture. With that said, let's get into it, because this one genuinely helps people. Let's start with the number itself, because it matters. A household income of $200,000 a year is not a small thing. It puts you somewhere around the top 10% of households in the country. By any measure, the data gives us that is a high income. So when someone earning that much tells me they feel broke, the easy answer is to say they are bad with money or they are ungrateful. I want to be clear, that is almost never what is going on. The people I saw in this spot were usually careful, hardworking, and a little embarrassed to even bring it up. The problem is not that they failed. The problem is that nobody ever told them the truth about what happens to a paycheck as it grows. The number went up, but something else went up right alongside it, quietly, and nobody pointed at it. That something has a name. It is called lifestyle creep, and it is the single biggest reason a bigger income does not feel like a bigger life. Here is how it works. You get a raise. Nothing dramatic happens. You do not run out and buy a yacht. Instead, 100 small things shift. The grocery cart gets a little nicer, the old car gets replaced a little sooner, the vacation gets booked at a slightly better hotel. The subscriptions add up. Each decision on its own is completely reasonable. Not one of them feels like a mistake. But added together, your spending quietly rises to meet your income, almost dollar for dollar. So a year later, you are earning more, and your bank account at the end of the month looks exactly the same as it did before the raise. The income grew. The breathing room did not. That is lifestyle creep, and it is not a character flaw. It is just what spending naturally does when nobody is watching it. Here is the reframe that changes everything, and it is the thing I most wish someone had drawn on a piece of paper for every customer I ever had. Income is not wealth. They are two completely different things. Income is the water coming out of the faucet. It is what you earn. Wealth is the water that is actually in the tub. It is what you keep. You can have an enormous faucet, a huge income pouring in, and still have an empty tub because the drain is wide open. That is exactly what a high income with high spending looks like. A lot of water moving and nothing collecting. And this is why two households earning the same $200,000 can live completely different lives. One feels secure, one feels broke. The difference is never the faucet. The difference is always how much stays in the tub. When you measure yourself by your income, you are staring at the faucet. The number that actually decides how you feel is the level in the tub. Let me tell you about that man and his $200,000. When we actually sat down and looked, the picture was not dramatic. There was no gambling, no wild spending, no single bad decision. There was a bigger house than the last one, with a bigger payment. 2 newer cars, both financed. A long list of small monthly subscriptions nobody had canceled in years. Comfortable, normal, reasonable choices. But every one of them was a small open drain. Added up, almost everything that came in had somewhere to go before the month was over. He was not broke. He was something the data does not have a clean word for. He had a high income and almost no margin. And then he said the thing I heard over and over from people in his seat. He said, "I make more than my parents ever dreamed of, and I feel further behind than they ever looked." That sentence is the whole video. So let's talk about why that feeling is real, and then exactly how to fix it. There is real research behind that feeling, and it is worth knowing. For years, the famous finding was that happiness from income leveled off somewhere around $75,000 a year, and more money passed that did not buy more day-to-day well-being. More recent research has refined that. For most people, more income does keep adding to happiness, but the key word is most. The studies also found that for people who are already stressed and unhappy, the gains from extra income can flatten out, especially once the financial stress itself is not solved. Here is the honest takeaway. In plain language, a bigger income helps, but it helps far less when the extra money simply disappears into a bigger lifestyle. If the raise does not turn into margin, into breathing room, into something you can actually feel, then your mind never gets the message that things got better. The paycheck changed. The nervous system did not. And that is why the number can climb for years and the worry never lifts. There is a second force working against you, and it is quieter and meaner than lifestyle creep: comparison. When your income rises, you usually move into a new world without noticing: a nicer neighborhood, a different group at work, new friends with a similar paycheck. And every one of those people becomes a new measuring stick: the house, the cars, the trips, the renovations. Suddenly, the bar for normal is not the country at large, where you are doing better than nearly everyone. The bar is the handful of people directly around you who are all running the exact same race, so you can climb the entire income ladder and never feel like you arrived, because every rung comes with a new set of neighbors to fall behind. And it is worse now because the comparison is not just your street. It is a glowing rectangle in your pocket showing you the best moment of 1,000 other lives all day long. You are not actually behind. You are just looking at a scoreboard that was built to make everyone feel that way. So here is the honest banker's answer, and it comes in two parts. The first part is a number, and it is not your salary. Stop measuring your progress by what you earn. Start measuring it by what you keep. There is a simple version of this number. Take what you saved and put toward building wealth this month, and divide it by what you brought home. That percentage, the share of your income that actually stays, is your real scoreboard. It does not matter if it starts small. A household earning $200,000 and keeping 2% of it is, in the way that matters, doing worse than a household earning $70,000 and keeping 15%. The income did not tell you that, the kept number did. So find your number. Then, every month, try to nudge it up by a single point. That is the whole game, not earning more. Keeping more of what already comes in. The second part of the fix is about the future, and it is the one move that quietly breaks the whole cycle. The next time your income goes up, decide where that money is going before it ever arrives. This is the opposite of lifestyle creep, and it works for the exact same reason creep does. Creep wins because the money shows up unassigned, and unassigned money always finds a way to be spent. So you take that away. Before the raise hits, give it a job. A specific job. This much goes to savings. This much goes to paying down a debt. Maybe a small deliberate slice goes to something you genuinely enjoy, because this is not about misery. The point is that the decision is made in advance, on purpose, instead of by accident over the following year. Do that with 2 or 3 raises in a row, and the tub finally starts filling. Same career, same paychecks, completely different outcome. The money was never the problem. The unassigned money was. So let's put the whole answer in one place. If you earn a good income and it still feels like it is not enough, you are very likely not bad with money, and you are not imagining it. You are caught in 3 normal forces: lifestyle creep, where spending quietly rises to match every raise; comparison, where a new income brings new neighbors and a higher bar; and the deep habit of measuring yourself by the faucet, your income, instead of the tub, what you keep. None of those are fixed by earning more. A bigger income poured into the same open drains just means more water moving and the tub still empty. The fix is to watch the tub, measure the share of your income you actually keep, and nudge it up 1 point at a time. And give every future raise a job before it arrives, so it builds something instead of vanishing. That is how a good income finally starts to feel like one. So let's go back one last time to that man and his $200,000. Nothing about his income changed after our conversation. He did not get a new job or a windfall. What changed was the scoreboard. He stopped asking, "How much am I making?" and started asking, "How much am I keeping?" He found his kept number and it was low, and that was uncomfortable, and it was also the most useful thing he had seen in years. He gave his next raise a job before it landed, and slowly, the tub started to fill. The feeling he had been chasing, the one where money stops being a quiet worry, did not come from earning more. It came from finally being able to see what he was keeping. So if you take one thing from this video, do not go ask for a raise tonight. Go figure out what you kept last month. That number, not your salary, is the one that tells you the truth. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next video.